for most people starting out, or most people looking for a new theme, start with one from the theme store and build from there.
Welcome to Honest E-Commerce, a podcast dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running a direct-to-consumer brand does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. On this podcast, we interview founders and experts who are putting in the work and creating real results. I also share my own insights from running our top Shopify consultancy, Electric Eye. We cut the fluff in favor of facts to help you grow your e-commerce business. Let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest E-Commerce. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and today I'm bringing to the show my business partner, Shawn Khemsurov. How you doing, Shawn?
I'm good. It is me.
Alrighty, so this is going to be a really fun one.
Long time no speak.
You were on episode 100, and we might be getting close to 200 now.
I think I talk to you about every day, so it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to you every day, but the audience hasn't heard from you.
That's true. They haven't. They can follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And hear more.
We are going to chat today about something that I think a lot of the listeners are going to be curious about, and we're going to try to do a couple of these educational episodes littered into the rest of the year. So the topic of today is going to be Shopify themes and kind of the pros and cons of doing something more off the shelf or templated or a premium theme. There's a bunch of different terminologies for it. First, something that's custom. So I guess, Shawn, first and foremost, can you just explain to me, as if I don't know anything, your favorite way to explain stuff to me? What is the difference between like a premium theme or like a custom theme, I guess?
Well, actually, I don't think they're called premium themes anymore, by the way, which is pretty cool. I think it's just themes that in the Shopify theme store now. So I think that they used to be called that, but basically, theme from the Shopify theme store is pretty self-explanatory. You buy it, you install it in your store, and you design within the customizer if you want to, and it's fairly straightforward. And then that's your website, basically, the front end of your website. And it's how you design your store, versus a custom website, which would start from scratch potentially, and not follow like a template or anything. It would be more freestyle, but you typically need a designer and a developer to get that done, versus just buying one off the shelf that has a lot of cool features built in. So yeah, it's kind of two roads you can go down, or you can also customize a pre-built theme. So the gist of it. Yeah, I don't want to get too crazy.
Yeah. All right. So what would be the advantage of using kind of an off-the-shelf templated theme from the theme store?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely speed to market. So if you're looking to get something stood up pretty fast, that's the way to go. You're looking at a lot less time. The themes that are in the Shopify theme store have countless hours built into them by developers and designers. They're vetted by Shopify and approved. And they just are jam-packed with things that can make your store better. And it's just really easy way to like get on Shopify, test your idea and see if there's a product market fit, without spending a ton of money and getting into like super complex things like custom development. And so, yeah, I mean, it's like just a fantastic way to kind of get things rolling really efficiently, prove your sales and prove the product. And then you can kind of look at other things like custom themes or custom development for specific features. And all of the themes in Theme Store now, I believe, are Shopify 2.0 ready with sections everywhere. They integrate the apps seamlessly. And so, whereas before, sometimes you'd install an app, it wouldn't work right. You'd have to put custom code in, things like that. A lot of it now is like toggling a button, just because these themes are so well built now. well thought out. And like I said, they're vetted by Shopify. They have strict requirements. A lot of time and effort has gone into developing these these themes. And it just makes things so much easier for the merchant to get going and get a beautiful theme to market.
Awesome. So you mentioned the Shopify theme store like 2 or 3 times already, but what if I buy something not there? Is that a good idea?
Sure you can. I think there's like some options out there. There's like Theme Forest and things like that. I would not recommend going that route just because I think it's best to kind of stick within the realm of Shopify. And you want to use themes that follow the latest and greatest best practices from Shopify and have the seal of approval. They're going to work longer and they're going to have less issues moving forward. You just can't trust some of those themes out there in different marketplaces. I think there's probably some exceptions. There might be some really great theme developers like within the Shopify ecosystem that just, have extra stuff built in or didn't fit the requirements, but I'm not going to discount that they still could be great themes. And maybe they wanted to sell it for more than the limit on Shopify or something like that. There's a lot of different scenarios there. So I'm not going to write off all of them, but I would say for most people starting out or most people looking for a new theme, start with one from the theme store and build from there.
Yeah, I can actually, within, I think it was yesterday, I spoke with a merchant and they used a theme from one of the other marketplaces, not the Shopify marketplace for theme, and they are having a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, not surprised.
All right, so you mentioned a lot of stuff about like speed to market. It's a great tool for smaller merchants. Like, let's talk about a merchant that's kind of got things off the ground and they have a business. They have consistent sales. This is well beyond a side hustle. This is a real business. Is there like a line in the sand you draw where, it makes more sense for a premium theme under a certain like kind of yearly revenue, or, is there any considerations there?
I don't think revenue wise would be like a good judge. I think it's more just like, what do you need? If you need some sort of like custom UX and like custom design that would better present your product outside of like the sections that a theme from the theme store has, and you feel that like that's important enough to go custom, like by all means, like that makes sense. If you're adding some custom features that not from an app or something like that, and you got to really get in there and do some surgery, like custom might be the answer. Also, like if you're a really established brand and it's like important to you to look different from the competition, or like look different than another person that bought the same theme, like that is actually a consideration. It's important to some brands to stand out. And yeah, that would be another reason kind of just to go with something more customized. You can still achieve that by starting with a theme from the theme store. And it's like actually not a bad idea because you're getting, the backbone and the speed and performance and sections everywhere and all the stuff that's like built into that to make your life easy and your team and like making changes to the theme. But then you can then go in and kind of chop it up how you want and make it look different from the competition. So we've done that a little bit at the agency here. And, like you could go to the site and you wouldn't really know what theme it is off the rip because it's been so heavily customized. But it's important to have like all that stuff built in. So like we can hand that off to the client and then they can go in and make changes on their own. Like you don't want to give them something that's super, super custom and has like no flexibility on the back end to like jump in and make changes. Cause then, it's just like increasing their expense and reliance on the developer and reliance on you and us. And it's like, that's not what we're here for. We want to make things easier.
Yeah. So something I wanted to highlight there that Shawn just said is like, when you go super custom, there's obviously some pros to doing that, which we will get into in a second. But one of the biggest drawbacks is it doesn't come with the flexibility that honestly most merchants these days just assume is going to be there.
Definitely. If you've used one of these themes before, like you know what's there within Shopify and what's the capabilities are. And then if you get something different, it might not sit well with you.
Awesome. So let's talk about like more what would be a reason to go like custom beyond like design.
I mean, I think some of like we talked about, like functionality as well. I mean, touched on it, but just like if you're really going in and doing some heavy customization, that's, might make more sense to start from scratch. I think performance is obviously a big one. I think everybody wants the fastest theme possible. And sometimes that's, not as easily achievable with a theme like from the theme store, because there's quite a few things built in to those themes to meet the requirements of Shopify. And so counterintuitively, it might slow it down a little bit. But I've seen like most of the themes from the store out of the box, like as long as you're not adding a ton of apps, I think they stand up. And still the benefits like outweigh the speed you get like with a custom theme. So I think it's like at the end of the day, I would still say like, you're gonna have a fast site. The Shopify checkout is still the same, and it's spectacular at conversion. And so but some people, they just want a really, really stripped down version of the theme with nothing extra. But the problem is once you start adding things like third-party apps, everything slows down.
Hey there, merchant. Are you tired of trying to navigate the wild world of e-commerce on your own? Are you looking for a partner to help you achieve your goals? Look no further than the Shopify Plus agency Electric Eye. Our team has a proven track record of helping our clients make millions with strategic design and development. Whether you're migrating from a legacy platform to Shopify, designing a new theme for your store, or just looking to optimize what you already have, Electric Eye is the perfect partner for you. Electric Eye are true Shopify experts. Not only is our Shopify knowledge unparalleled, but we have partnerships with all the best tech in the Shopify ecosystem. And don't worry, we're easy to get a hold of. Our clients rave about our fast communication. So here's the deal. If you're an e-commerce business doing over $1 million a year, you can receive a complimentary Shopify diagnostic from our team of experts. That's free, personalized, strategic recommendations to improve your store and grow your business. To get started, head on over to electriceye.io/connect to schedule an intro call with one of our experts. That's electriceye.io/connect. Hey there, merchants. Are you struggling to get your Merchant Center ads approved but keep running into a price mismatching error? Wondering how your competitors are showing reviews, price, delivery, and product availability directly in search results? What if there was a way to get your ads approved for the first time and get more traffic without fighting for rankings? That's where JSON-LD for SEO comes in. It's an app that helps you get more organic traffic to your Shopify store, qualifying you for over a dozen search enhancements, and provides all the structured data you need for Merchant Center. JSON-LD for SEO automatically adds the structured data needed, and it's updated regularly as the rules change by Google. It's a hands-off SEO app that you don't need to monkey around with to get working. It's the safest, easiest, and most effective way to stand out from your competitors in search results. Contact us to get your free structured data audit for your store. Find JSON-LD for SEO in the Shopify App Store to get started. That's JSONLD for SEO, or go to JSONLD.app, JSONLD.app. Hey everybody, Chase here to talk about an amazing new product that's hitting the market. So, what do brands like Warby Parker, Dr. Squatch, Vital Proteins, and Blendjet all have in common? They're all increasing their abandoned cart revenues by over 10 10x with retention.com. Retention.com helps direct-to-consumer brands harness the power of identity to transform lost leads into sales and rapidly expand their abandoned revenues. Retention.com is giving Honest E-commerce listeners 20% off their annual commitment. If you're not seeing the results that you want within 60 days, you can opt out at no charge. Head on over to retention.com/honest. That's retention.com/HONEST to book a demo today. We ran through this a little bit quick, so I kind of want to just quickly hit on some of the key components here. And then if there's anything I forget, obviously, Shawn, please bring it up.
Yeah, I have some extra stuff, but go ahead.
Yeah, so like the advantages of an off-the-shelf theme is you're going to have a faster launch. It's kind of pre-designed and pre-developed, so you skip that part of the process completely. But some of the limitations there is you're kind of stuck to that design and the functionalities how they come. They might be a little bit slower, but that is honestly maybe not even like a real consideration because it's not a huge thing. And you know, it's potentially you may end up looking like someone else, but honestly, we've done dozens of these projects and they all look different.
Yeah. Your branding is what's going to set you apart. You know, if you're just downloading the theme and like using the same imagery or something like that and just like not touching it at all, not getting in the customizer and changing colors and fonts, like you might end up looking like someone else. But I would say 99.9% of customers would never know. So it's still a really efficient way. And obviously, like, we didn't talk that much about price, but
I saved the best for last.
Way cheaper it's way cheaper to jump on and get one of these awesome themes. And potentially, you know, depending on how savvy you are, you could set it up yourself. It's made for that, and that's fine. It's not putting us out of work or business. If you design it and kind of put things together yourself. But a lot of the time people will come to us, I'd say like after the fact, that they've maybe installed one of these themes, and got stuck with just like, they want to do something cool, you know, design wise or feature wise. And they'll say like, hey guys, like I got this theme going. My cat's here. So this is Giorgio. He's making a special appearance. Of course. But yeah, so people will come to us afterwards, and say like, hey guys, I got this started. But I'm a little stuck. I'm not a developer. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, or, and they'll come to us and ask for some help just to get them across the finish line, or add like a really cool feature that they had in mind. So yeah, there's different ways to do it, but I think like if you were just starting out, and you have a cool product and, you know, you download one of these themes and you can put things together, you could be live in a day and selling. So that's like the beauty of Shopify, I would say, is just like the speed to market and usability of it all. I'd say it's just very friendly to the merchant.
Absolutely. I mean, this sounds like a love letter to off-the-shelf themes at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we've done it both ways, obviously. So I've seen the advantages. I think like I've said this like in our newsletter and like written about it a little bit. And things have just changed so much, I would say, like even in the past year or so with Shopify. And so like even just 2.0 sections everywhere, like we wouldn't be having this conversation, you know, a year or two ago. It would just be like, if you want something really, really good, fast, and, you know, you would go custom. But now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to people and say like, go custom because it's going to cost more money and we benefit from that. It's like, we want something that's really easy, that makes sense for like the specific business. So like for someone just starting out, these themes are great. I know like a lot of the developers, which we'll get into in a second, they've put a lot of time and energy into making these themes, and like they're really cool. Like the designs are good, off the shelf, and they're super flexible. Like that also wasn't the case, I would say, a year or two ago. Like some of these themes were super limited with like what you could actually do and control. Anything from like fonts or colors or like changing a headline here or moving a section around, like it just wasn't like that. And so the barrier there was just, it was a lot different. Custom seemed like the only option, I would say, at that point. Now it's like 50-50. It's like, if it makes sense to do custom, we'll tell you that. If it makes sense to do off the shelf theme, then we'll tell you that as well.
I already have another idea. We'll have a conversation soon about headless versus not, and that's a whole other rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But I do want to shine some light on the advantages of a custom theme. It can be extremely catered specifically to the needs of your brand, the functionality wise or design wise. It's as custom as it wants to be. It's a custom website. You can get it unique with the design, the features, and you potentially could go headless. A lot of custom sites are headless as well, and you can use the best APIs, do whatever you want. With that is longer and costlier design and development process. The QA is seemingly never ending, and you are signing up for like ongoing maintenance forever.
Yeah.
So it's the pros and cons of a custom website. I know that we want to talk about our favorite themes, but I think we need to speak to budget. And I thought about this before the podcast, and we could use like the restaurant menu thing of the dollar signs, how many dollar signs or to how expensive it would be. So out of, $5 signs, custom is going to end up being like $3 to $5. Like they are not cheap to go custom in any regard. And on the flip side, using kind of an off-the-shelf solution, we're probably looking at $1 sign, maybe $2 signs. And then we alluded to this earlier, but the hybrid approach, which I kind of want you to speak more to, would kind of be in the middle there, between like 2 and 4. It's how much work do you want to put into this thing to customize it?
Yeah, I love that approach. I just think it's like best of both worlds, where like you have the foundation and you got the customizer and everything's in there. But you're also getting like putting maybe a little bit more time into design, having a designer lay stuff out in Figma, create something really unique, and then having a developer go in and make those changes, and just build off the code base. Because let's say you just use like some random theme that's, like put together with toothpicks. I'm not saying you're going to do that, but, down the line, if you have another developer working on it, it's not going to be as familiar, and it's not going to be as recognizable. It's not going to be as trusted as like something you'd get in the theme store. You're starting from like a really good place and then building upon that in, making it work for what you're trying to do. So I really love that approach and it's like definitely going to work for a large percentage of the businesses out there in e-commerce, in my opinion.
I cannot like stress enough how much more stuff you get starting from a premium theme. And by stuff, I mean sections and features and functionalities versus going fully custom, because all of those additional considerations aren't included in the scope. No agency is just going to include all that stuff when they're starting from scratch. And for most merchants, you need that extra flexibility built into the theme. And then when you're doing this hybrid approach where you're customizing on top of kind of a pre-vetted design direction and development, you're just going to get a lot more stuff.
Yeah. I mean, there's also like even like animations and stuff like that have come a long way, like within the themes, and not a huge fan of like crazy animations that slow things down, but it does like put like a level up. It's like it's a bit of polish on the car. But yeah, it's just like, there's so much cool stuff out there, and you can build upon that and make a really good site. And I'd say like, unless you're enterprise Shopify Plus, like high up, like, crazy revenue, I would shy away from custom. And of course, It's not always like that, but you might have some requirements that, lean you towards that direction. But I would say like the majority of stores, I'd say like off the shelf and then off the shelf hybrid kind of thing, like doing some extra building on top of the theme. It's the way to go.
Awesome. Now, I know you've got kind of a handful of favorites, or kind of just like some pre-vetted development design solutions. You want to give some shout outs?
Yeah, I'll give a couple. Switch Themes is a really cool company. It's William from Switch Themes became friends kind of this year, but they do a really good job. I'd say like their stuff is more design focused. And so like, I think that they have like the coolest looking themes out there. And so obviously, if you follow us or, been paying attention, like we used Baseline theme for our store. We used to be, have a custom website and off of Shopify and stuff. And, we just thought it'd be much easier to go to Shopify, kind of eat our own dog food and use a theme and just get some more familiarity with it, and see what we could do, with the theme ourselves. And so we built electriceye.io, which is our website, on Baseline, and also didn't really do much customization to it at all. So just wanted to see.
I don't think we've done any customization.
No. Maybe like just a couple things. So that's like an example, of what you can get without any development at all, really. And so we were able to, convey, I think, what we needed to, with the theme. And that's kind of just alludes back to like, these themes are so flexible. Like you can do what you need to do in there without a developer. And so that's a great one. He's also got some, or say they have some other great themes. Shapes, I think, from Switch is like extremely cool. It does some things like with sections that are really creative that I didn't actually ever think of or like think could be done. But it looks a lot more like, a custom design, just the way you can kind of use shapes to create borders and stuff. And it's like, I think a lot of people, like a lot of theme developers before that, were like thinking more in terms of just like these blocks, like these sections, whether it be on the homepage, or the product page, and just here's a block, then there's a block, and with not a lot of transition, not a lot of thought. So shapes, I think, is really cool. I think also, outside of Switch, for maybe like, I would say like bigger catalogs or, maybe more like functionality versus design, I would say, Maestrooo or Maestrooo, however you actually want to pronounce it. I don't know. We'll find out maybe one day. Has some really cool themes. I think they have, Focal, which is a favorite of ours, and also Impact, which I'm looking forward to trying. It's really slick looking theme. Looks like it has a ton of functionality and flexibility. So we're going to get into that and probably use that soon. And also Impulse, I think, is
Archetype.
Yeah, Archetype's cool too. They have like, a lot of people from Shopify, and that's how they got started. And so Impulse is like, trusty standby. It's another one that's like very flexible and you can get up and going really easily. And so I'd say like those are my favorites right now. I think I've seen some other cool ones like Mode, and there's like themes all the time being added to the store. And I know they're opening things up, and I would expect to see more and more. But I think those three kind of like those three developers are really good and trustworthy. So
yeah, I would also have to shout out to Out of the Sandbox as a developer and Pixel Union as well. Those are some trustworthy names too.
I think Mode was, in our buddy Alex Lear showed me Mode. I think it was Clean Canvas. So that was a cool one too, and I hadn't even seen that one. So that's like, even for me, I'm in there looking at them, and all the time and like super interested in it. There's even new ones that I've seen, that I didn't know about. So it's new stuff all the time, and they're only going to get better and better. Like 2.0 hasn't even been around that long. So I could see things just getting like people getting more creative with like, I've even seen like Chase, I think you sent me the one with like a bundle builder built in. It's like, that's so freaking cool. Like the way, you search through the products is like not something I had ever thought of. Like really, really cool. Like it works, and it's creative, and that's the kind of thing I think that needs to happen more often with the themes, is like coming up with cool features or like cool niches that would benefit from the type of theme or functionality you're putting into it. Awesome.
Well, this recording went a lot longer than we both thought it would, which is fantastic.
I mean, could probably talk a lot longer, but it's probably fine.
Well, is there anything I didn't ask you about when it comes to kind of this conversation of off-the-shelf themes versus custom themes?
Not really. I mean, I think we covered most everything. I just think it'll be super interesting to see how things progress. Who knows? Like there might be AI components. They're already putting that in Shopify with product descriptions and things like that. And so it would be cool to see that. It would be cool to see more like A/B testing stuff. And so that's something like that. I think there's, Google Optimize going away, and there's some cool options coming out with it. I think Shoplift was a cool app. And it'll be interesting to see if some of that stuff leaks in to the theme side as well, and just the ability to like serve up different designs to different people or different groups or segments. There's still like a lot more stuff I think that could happen in the future to explore and just make the experience even better for people like just starting out or, utilizing these themes. Just like everything on Shopify should be, I think, easy to use and should convert. And so, I think that that's the direction things are going in, and it's cool. And we're here if you need something cool added to the theme. But, if you're just trying to get started and you're an entrepreneur and you want to sell, it's like, just give them a go, see what happens.
Yeah. See, typically with interviewing merchants, this is where I let them plug their product, but plugging my own product sounds a little bit.
Yeah. Double plug. So, Honest Ecommerce Podcast, you're listening right now, so you know what that is. And then Electric Eye is the agency. And so, we're in there all the time working with these themes, doing design, doing development, optimization. We just, we care about communication and our client happiness and all that stuff. And it's really important to us to see our clients succeed. We're never trying to sell them stuff that they don't need, or anything like that. We're just trying to be as honest as possible and help them be the best version of themselves and sell more. So that's what we do at the agency.
Thanks for coming on today, Shawn. I'll have you back in a couple of weeks and we'll talk about something else fun.
All right. Let's wait about a month. No, I'm just
We can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey with us. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our own businesses. You can find all the links in the show notes. You can subscribe to the newsletter at honestecommerce.co to get each episode delivered right into your inbox. If you're enjoying this content, consider leaving a review on iTunes. That really helps us out. Lastly, if you're a store owner looking for an amazing partner to help you get your Shopify store to the next level, reach out to Electric Eye at electriceye.io/connect. Until next time.